I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Technorati CEO Richard Jalachandra. Richard, thank you for joining us for this segment.
Great to be here again.
Now, Technorati was the first blog search engine, and it still is probably one of the most popular blog search engines out there. But in terms of mind share, in terms of really taking a leap forward and innovating, I don't think it has done that. And you and I have discussed sometime offline that Technorati could have made different decisions. So what did Technorati do wrong in the first few years?
I don't know. It's not, I think, a matter of characterizing what was wrong or what was right. I think it's true in startups in general that you have different talent sets for different stages of the company. I think what happened in Technorati's case is that the skill set that got the company off the ground and evangelized the blogosphere in general, not just Technorati, was different than actually turning it into a very big media business. And I think if Dave Sifry, our founder, was here, he'd be the first one to tell you that. If he had any regrets. I mean, one of the things he's told me is, like, Richard, I wish I'd brought you in a little sooner. But that said, I mean, Dave was a fantastic evangelist, not just for the company, but again for the entire blogosphere.
Sure, and founders often pass on the baton.
Yeah. And I think that was really, if there was a lesson to be learned with Technorati, it's like, all right, what are the right skill sets for the various stages of the company? And I think we're making that transition as we speak.
Now, you talked about if you were around, David would have brought you on sooner, but you were actually at IGN at the time, I think, when Technorati was sort of getting off the ground.
Yeah, I was actually at IGN Entertainment, and of course we sold to Fox, so I spent a little bit of time at Fox as well.
Right.
And then a year at Exponential, the parent company of Travel Fusion.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about your experience at IGN when it was sold to Fox Interactive Media and News Corp, and for $650 million. Are there lessons to be learned from that experience of selling to a company like a Rupert Murdoch company?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a cliche, but it's really important to keep your eye on the ball. Don't be worried about selling your company. Build a great business first. All the rest kind of takes care of itself. And I think there's one thing that we did very well at IGN was keeping our eye on just building a great business and a high growth business. And I think the other thing that we did at IGN really well was we created a sense of entrepreneurship to the point where Mark Jung, like our CEO, used to love to call us 350 entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so everybody had a sense of ownership for whatever they were doing, whatever the responsibility was. And we're very invested in it and really got pissed off if our competition beat us on even the smallest little feature, just for that sense of entrepreneurship.
So you were in an environment that's actually a really great environment for entrepreneurs. You're sort of in a startup, Technorati. So what are you bringing from your past experience to your current position as the CEO of Technorati? And as you're talking about that also, I guess these would be also three pieces of advice that you're taking, you tell yourself probably, and the three pieces of advice that you would offer entrepreneurs. What would they be?
It stems out of, some of what we did at IGN by creating that sense of entrepreneurship, it really stems out of a management philosophy that I happen to share with Mark Jung, and it just is the way I like to be managed. I manage the way I like to be managed, and that's that. Let me do what I do, and get out of the way. Be an advisor to me. Don't tell me how to do it. And I think that's incredibly important in a startup, in an entrepreneurial thing, where there's just so much going on, and you have so many balls in the air that if you don't let people have the freedom to go be the best that they can be, you're not going to succeed as a startup. And I think it goes even a step further than that. There's sometimes when I sit back where I know 15 years ago I would have stepped in and helped somebody or done something differently.
Yeah.
Now I sit back, and even if it's only 70% as effective as I think it would be,
yeah.
in the long term, I think that person ends up being so much more effective because they get the confidence and the creativity to go do it on their own.
Okay. Any other piece of advice about just fundraising or hiring or?
Well, on the fundraising front, I've been told by venture capitalists that they'll invest in the horse and not the cart. They do invest in carts because some of the carts are really cool, but for the most part, they invest in great entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking with another venture capitalist who was telling me that in the last 3 years, every successful exit in their portfolio had at least 3 business model changes, but because the people were just so smart, they figured out what the right model was. So if I had any advice to a young entrepreneur, be smart, ambitious, energetic, explore every opportunity, be the person that is the dynamo that a venture capitalist wants to invest in. While your idea is important, if they get a sense of confidence that you're the person that can execute something, even if it's a cookie-cutter concept, they'll invest in you.
Okay, well, I had some points to make, but on that note, because it was such a good one, we're just going to end it there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for your insight. I've been speaking with Richard Jalachandra. He's the CEO of Technorati. I'm Bambi Francisco.